Hey guys, this is Angus and I'm going to try and explain metabolic rate simply. So before we get into stuff like fat loss and building muscle, we need to understand metabolic rate, and I think a lot of people think of it as a hamster inside your body and they have a fast metabolism or they have a slow metabolism, and it just depends how fast the hamster's running. I would like to confirm there's no hamster in a wheel inside you. So here's a classic picture of your metabolic rate, and it's made up of four components: your TEF, your EAT, and your NEAT, and your BMR. And these are your four components of your metabolic rate. This, although the classic picture, isn't actually accurate because your NEAT, your EAT, and your thermal effect of feeding at the top there can all change. So we're going to go through each one of these individually to kind of give you a picture of how you work. So let's start off with the big one at the bottom, which is your BMR, or your basal metabolic rate. So your BMR, or your basal metabolic rate, is the amount of calories you would burn all day if you were just in a coma, lying in your bed and not moving. Your basal metabolic rate runs things like your brain, your liver, your heart, your major organs, pumping blood around your body, and just generally keeping you alive, and just that kind of turnover of cells. And that is your biggest part generally of your metabolism. Not an incredibly accurate way of working out your BMR is your body weight in pounds times by 10. I'll give you a quick example. Would be a 200-pound person times that by 10 would give you 2,000 calories. A 150-pound person times by 10 would give you 1,500 calories. So to conclude on basal metabolic rate, about 10 times your body weight in pounds is roughly how many calories you're burning, or your basal metabolic rate is burning throughout the day. That's not a super accurate way. There are loads of online calculators you can check out, but most of them will come within 10% of that numbers, and that's just a quick way of working it out. So we'll move on to the next part of your metabolism now, which is this one here, TEF, which is your thermal effect of feeding. This should be just a quick one. So your thermal effect of feeding is how many calories it takes to burn through the food you're eating. And we have two piles of food here. We have processed food and non-processed food. When the food is processed externally outside your body, i.e. in a factory or even in your own kitchen, your body then doesn't have to break down that food, so you absorb more of the calories out of that food. And depending if you want to absorb more calories or less calories, you could choose your food. It's quite marginal on how many calories you burn. Protein requires your body to burn the most amount of calories. Fat requires the least. Processed food like sugar, you can absorb pretty much all of it out of it. It depends what you eat. It is quite marginal, but it does factor into the total amount of calories your body burns throughout the day. So the next part of the metabolism we'll have a look at here is EAT, which is your exercise activity thermogenesis. And this just is regular exercise. So here's a kind of picture which shows how many calories you burn per hour doing various activities. This particular one is based on someone who weighs 155 pounds. These are all really different, and it really depends on how much effort you put in and how advanced you are at the exercises, but some exercises burn more calories than others. These sort of charts are completely useless because really what it comes down to long term is the one you can do most often. So don't think walking is rubbish compared to karate and kickboxing if you just don't enjoy that sort of thing. Don't think you have to go running. Don't think you have to do anything. Choose an exercise you enjoy doing, that you can do regularly, that you can have some fun with and put some exercise in with. So calories burned through exercise is really good. It's something we should be looking to do all the time, getting your heart rate up, getting the blood pumping, becoming fitter. So the last part of the metabolism that we're going to have a look at is NEAT, and this is the biggest player in your metabolism potentially, and it's your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is things like fidgeting, moving, just all your stuff. So we've all got people who are kind of sloth-like and they sit on the couch and they don't move, so their NEAT would be pretty low. And then we've got people who are super active, fidgety, always waving their hands, dancing about. Their NEAT would be high. So those people burn more calories throughout the day than the sloth-like people. And if you think I'm being rude calling sloth-like people, I'm definitely one of those sloth-like people. So here we have two different people that have completely different needs. So their BMR is the same, their TEF is the same, and this chart just uses TEA, which is thermal effect of activity rather than eat, which is thermal effect of exercise. They're the same thing, so don't get too bogged down with that. Both of these people have everything the same except the NEAT, and as you can see, it's quite a vast difference. So one person's burning 750 calories with their NEAT because they're an office worker, teacher, etc., and the other person is burning 2,000 calories because they're a construction worker, farmer, etc. So NEAT is one of the biggest players in your metabolism, and as you exercise more and as you diet more, your NEAT will come down. You're not really in charge of it. So if you're finding yourself, you're getting more lazy, you're sitting on the couch more, perhaps your calories are too low and you need to boost them a little bit to give you a little bit more energy inside your body, or you're exercising too much. We've all done that, maybe that mad exercise session where we sweated, it was really hard, and then we just came home and sat down on the couch and just didn't do anything. So that's NEAT. NEAT we're not really in control of. We can keep an eye on NEAT, but we're not really in control. These are unconscious movements like blinking movement. Even people who diet will maybe move less in their sleep and burn less calories in their sleep. So you're not really in control of NEAT, but you can keep an eye on it through an activity tracker. So those are the 4 parts of your metabolism, and they all add up together to make a thing called your TDEE, which is your total daily energy expenditure, and that's a number of calories. If you go over that number of calories, you'll put on weight. If you go under that calories, you will lose weight. There are loads of calculators you can use that work out your total daily energy expenditure. Most of them are fairly accurate and fairly good. You can use this one here, which works with your body weight in pounds times by 10, like we already did, to work out your BMR. And then you just multiply that number by one of these, whether you're inactive plus exercise, you're active plus exercise, very active plus exercise. And you just multiply it by one of these, whether you're lean or non-lean. Once you have that number, you can kind of pop that into MyFitnessPal, and depending on your goals, you try and eat those calories. If you put on weight, then you probably need to reduce your calories. If you lose too much weight, you need to maybe up your calories. But don't forget, your NEAT can change and your exercise output can also change depending on how much fuel you have in your body. So there's a little game to play there, and your calories should change all the time.